The WWE Draft is here as the company prepares to shake up its roster again. We already had part 1 of the draft on Friday Night Smackdown, so let's look at part 2, letting you know who's going where and what it could mean for their career. If you're looking for the rules to the draft, it appears the WWE is too, as they drafted wrestlers who were supposed to be free agents after the draft on Friday. In any event, here are the results of the draft on the 14th October edition of Monday Night Raw. This won't be a recap with the good, bad and ugly, but that one's coming up shortly, so be sure to tune in. Anyway, drafted to Raw. Number 1, Seth Rollins. Rumour has it that the WWE doesn't like to split up real-life couples by putting them on separate brands, so it's no surprise Seth Rollins is remaining on the red brand with his bride-to-be Becky Lynch. The sheer amount of work that WWE has spent in building Rollins up as Raw's top babyface made him remaining on Raw a foregone conclusion. But it will be interesting to see how the WWE ends the Rollins vs Wyatt feud with both men on opposite brands. Perhaps it will be at Crown Jewel, as the two will face off in a last man standing match. Number 2, Charlotte Flair. The Queen's SmackDown Women's Championship loss to Bayley last Friday makes much more sense now that Flair is on Raw. With Sasha Banks on SmackDown, Lynch needs a strong opponent, and while rumour has it that Asuka will move to Raw, Flair should round out the top of the Raw women's roster. Number 3, Andrade and Zelina Vega. Andrade has much to offer in the ring, and like some of the other draft picks chosen for Raw, he has 3 hours to find a spot in the show as opposed to 2 on SmackDown. Paul Heyman can easily find a program for Andrade, whether it's a renewal of his past battles against Rey Mysterio, or a series against Ricochet. Number 4, the Kabuki Warriors. Another move that didn't surprise us was the Kabuki Warriors jump to Raw. Given all the talk of the WWE wanting to do another Becky Lynch vs Asuka series, it's no surprise the current women's tag team champions are conveniently located near her. Lynch may find herself dealing with double trouble as Asuka challenges her for the Raw Women's title, while Kairi Sane provides outside interference. With Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss gunning for the Kabuki Warriors titles, and the Empress of Tomorrow putting Lynch in her crosshairs, it should provide some interwoven drama between the female superstars. Number 5, Rusev. It would have been quite the boneheaded move starting an angle between Rusev and Bobby Lashley over Rusev's real-life wife Lana, only to send Rusev to Friday nights. Rusev has enjoyed a strong push since his return, and fans are hopeful this may finally start the journey to making every day Rusev Day. Number 6, Aleister Black. While there was talk that Black's character was too dark for SmackDown, hence his lack of matches there, the truth is that Black was just another superstar who got lost in the shuffle. He can certainly thrive on the much edgier Raw, but he could have thrived on SmackDown had he been given the chance. He and Zelina Vega are another couple that didn't get split up from the draft. Number 7, Cedric Alexander. While Cedric Alexander's push seemed to disappear on Raw, there's still plenty of time to rebuild him and ignore the last few weeks of wretched booking. Alexander was over when he was pushed, and the fans genuinely seemed to like his act. Number 8, Humberto Carrillo. This former 205 Live star's best bet on Raw is to team up with a similarly styled performer such as Ricochet. The two could form an entertaining tag team and eventually seek the Red Brand's tag belts. Number 9, ERICK Rowan. Rowan is somewhat of a surprise as he seemed to be getting pushed on SmackDown. Will Raw provide ERICK Rowan with the same opportunities, or will he drift into obscurity again? Raw has a number of big men already, and Rowan's presence there seems redundant. Also, what of his partner Luke Harper? Did he get drafted? Number 10, Buddy Murphy. Buddy Murphy showed much promise during his short-term role in the Who Tried to Kill Roman Reigns storyline. Unfortunately, the talented star seemed to disappear just as fast as he stepped out from the sidelines. Paul Heyman has a strong talent with Buddy Murphy, but Murphy is just one of many stars who will have to fight for a spot on Raw, let alone a regular role. Number 11, Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal's career has been in a holding pattern ever since his unexpected role as WWE Champion. Whether Mahal performs on Raw or SmackDown, his career is likely to continue to be that of a mid-card act. Number 12, R-Truth. R-Truth played a huge role in the unlikely success of the 24/7 Championship, but just how much life is there left in the belt? Truth is someone who could play a comedy role every week without having to step into the ring, and Raw will benefit from his status as a red brand performer. Number 13. Samoa Joe. The Samoan submission machine is a guy that WWE just can't seem to kill, despite repeatedly poor pushes and continued losses in the matches that matter, i.e. title matches. Wherever Joe goes, he's just a few matches away from seeming like he belongs in the main event. Joe brings everything but the WWE musclehead look to the table, as he brings kick-ass promos, matches, and the look of a killer. How have they not put the belt on this man just yet? Number 14. Akira Tozawa. Paul Heyman can easily find a strong supporting role for Tozawa on Raw, and under the right circumstances, who's to say he can't go further? Raw is the right place for Akira to be, largely due to Heyman's role as executive director. Number 15. Shelton Benjamin. It's unlikely that Shelton will do anything other than continue to put on excellent matches while making other performers look good. While he's not quite ready for retirement, he's at the point in his career where an upper card role is a stretch and a main event program unthinkable. Come to think of it though, we never really got the meaning behind those promos. Number 16. Rey Mysterio. Simply put, Rey Mysterio is in the twilight of his career, and some believe he should have retired a few years back due to chronic injuries that have led to repeated absences. Nonetheless, the WWE seems intent on one last angle for Rey involving his son Dominic, and Raw is the best place for this, once again due to its 3 hours. Number 17. Titus O'Neil. Now O'Neil will do the same on Raw as he's done elsewhere. Pretty much nothing. And number 18. Liv Morgan. This talented member of the now defunct Riot Squad is being repackaged as we speak, which will hopefully help her career get back on track. The WWE seems to be building Raw up as the proving ground for its women wrestlers, which can only hurt SmackDown, which lacks a decent undercard of female superstars. But those were the wrestlers drafted to Raw. What about those wrestlers who were drafted to Friday Night SmackDown? Number 1. Brock Lesnar. Lesnar's current position as WWE Champion, coupled with SmackDown repeatedly being positioned as WWE's A-show, made it inevitable that he would be officially placed on Friday Night SmackDown. If the murmurs of Lesnar working more dates proves true, he could help elevate SmackDown, but it will take more than an occasional appearance. A full-time Brock Lesnar is still unlikely, so even added appearances necessitate the WWE building more stars to draw in a regular audience. Number 2. The New Day. Although the WWE has so much room for improvement with building stars, SmackDown's creative crew can take some solace in the New Day remaining on SmackDown. It wouldn't surprise us if Fox executives asked for the New Day to remain on SmackDown, as they're a proven commodity, regardless of how Kofi Kingston fared during his reign as WWE Champion. Number 3. Daniel Bryan. This one isn't a curious pick, as Bryan is a top star and SmackDown seems to be stacking up some established names. Nonetheless, Bryan moving to Raw could have made for some interesting matches, ranging from bouts with AJ Styles and Seth Rollins, and even tag team matches with Bryan picking a younger star to help put over. Instead, it's likely Bryan is going to feud with Roman Reigns, revealing his friendship with him was a sham. Number 4. Bayley. With the Kabuki Warriors and Charlotte Flair headed to Raw, the Blue brand desperately needs some top female talent. With Sasha Banks still recovering from her tailbone injury, it's up to Bayley to carry the Blue brand's banner, and with any luck, elevate some of its younger talent in the process. Looking at SmackDown reveals a surprisingly paltry women's division, and short of some NXT call-ups, it needs some help. Number 5. Shinsuke Nakamura. Again, the WWE didn't want to break up its champions from one brand by putting them on another. Nakamura does equally well on Raw or SmackDown, but since he's Intercontinental Champion, he's staying put. Number 6. Ali. Ali's career has been on the skid since his injury before Elimination Chamber. It hasn't recovered since and doesn't seem to have much hope for a resurgence on SmackDown. He might have found hope in the form of Raw's Paul Heyman, but not on SmackDown. Number 7. Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler. The now former Raw Tag Team Champions will have a tough road ahead of them as they try and find a spot on the Blue brand. Roode and Ziggler are likely to find themselves putting over acts like the New Day and Heavy Machinery than they will do winning another Tag Team Championship. Roode and Ziggler are a good team, but it remains to be seen if the WWE has any use for them now that they've passed the Raw Tag Team straps to the Viking Raiders. Number 8. Carmella. Former SmackDown Women's Champion Carmella has received some much needed airtime thanks to a partnership with R-Truth in the ongoing saga of the 24/7 Championship. With the dynamic duo now split, Carmella has the chance to work on rising in the women's division. Number 9. The Miz. How much longer will The Miz continue jobbing before the fans tire of his babyface act? It's doubtful that Miz's career will experience a resurgence on the already crowded SmackDown roster, and the WWE would have been better to put him on Raw. And number 10, King Corbin. Although the WWE seems intent on pushing Corbin, the new king in town faces the same problem as The Miz, trying to carve out a spot with many established stars, likely to continue being pushed due to their popularity. While the WWE seems determined to establish Corbin as a main eventer, SmackDown was the wrong place to do so, as in all truth, Lesnar is the true king. Number 11. Shorty Gable. Chad Gable's new nickname is damn right awful, but for most WWE performers, it's all about the push Gable has been receiving, which has been a strong one, and SmackDown could be the place he levels up to a permanent spot in the upper card. And number 12. Elias. Now that he's on SmackDown, Elias's best hope is to be used in a comedy role rather than in the ring, simply because he's got too much competition to cut through. The WWE should continue to position Elias as an annoying but entertaining heel and capitalize on his comedy. But what was our overall thought of the draft? Now, although there's been talk of SmackDown being booked as the WWE's top show, the draft really drives home this point, with numerous top stars either remaining on the blue brand or moving to it. While Raw hasn't been stripped-mined of its talent, it has fewer top stars to fill out a 3-hour show, and will have to build up its younger stars to fill the gap. That could be a good thing, but it's rare that stars are made overnight, so Raw may be in a rebuilding phase for several months. There's also been some big news over the last couple of hours, as Mike Kanellis has requested his WWE release. Now, Mike Kanellis, who recently re-signed with the WWE, apparently is no longer happy with his situation, with Kanellis releasing the following statement on Twitter. Today, I asked for my release from WWE. I want to thank everyone in the company who has helped me out and who I have shared a locker room with. I love you all. I've been with the company for almost 3 years and I'm incredibly grateful for the opportunity. However, it is time for me to move on. I am only 34 years old and I feel I have way too much left in the tank. Working 1 day a week is just not going to cut it for me. I came to WWE to work and that opportunity doesn't exist right now. I re-signed with the company back in June because I thought it was what was best for my family, and maybe from a financial standpoint it was. But I quickly realized that bringing my work frustrations and misery home with me is not good for my family, and I no longer want my daughter to constantly see me come home defeated, sad, and angry. It's not fair to her or my wife. Being a pro wrestler was, and is my lifelong dream, and I'm just not ready to give that up yet. I wasted 4 years of my life addicted to drugs and not caring, when I should have been having the best matches of my life. Now that I'm clean, sober and motivated, I want to have those 30-minute matches. I want to travel the world and wrestle in front of UK crowds, German crowds, Japanese crowds. I want to feel the love and excitement wrestling once gave me. I also want my daughter to be able to see me wrestle. I want to see her daddy work for his money. I've never been okay with just collecting a paycheck, and I can't in good conscience tell my daughter she has to work her ass off to get ahead in life, than not to do it myself. I don't know what the future holds, but for the first time in a long time, I'm hopeful and excited. Thank you to everyone who has ever supported me and had my back. I love you. Now, this should prove interesting as to whether Kanellis is granted his release, as the WWE reportedly is committed to granting no releases, as it does not want to lose any wrestlers to its competitors. Mainly AEW. While Kanellis has been featured on Raw, he served as comedy material in squash matches. But there you have it guys, a detailed analysis of the WWE Draft, as well as news of Mike Kanellis handing in his release. Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.